Good evening, dear traveler. How fortunate we are to meet again here at the gentle threshold between wakefulness and dreams. You have found your way to this quiet harbor, perhaps carrying with you the weight of a long day, perhaps seeking refuge from a mind that will not rest, or perhaps simply curious to wander with me into places of wonder and peace. If that is so, you are most welcome. I am Professor Dozesworth, a lifelong student of history, of travel, of the small and grand stories our world tells us if only we pause to listen. And it is my greatest pleasure each week to invite you on a journey that asks nothing of you but stillness. You need not pack a bag, you need not brave airports or seas, you need only close your eyes, breathe softly, and allow my words to weave a path through landscapes far away. Together we have already strolled among the ruins of Rome, followed the footsteps of pharaohs in Egypt, drifted across the Ganges in India, and stood beneath the red cliffs of Peru. Tonight we step into a realm unlike any other, Iceland. Iceland is a land caught between elements, sculpted by both fire and ice. Here glaciers cover mountains like frozen crowns, and volcanoes slumber beneath them, dreaming of fire. Waterfalls tumble from cliffs as though the land itself were weeping with joy. Black sand beaches stretch where the sea meets ancient lava, and above it all the heavens sometimes awaken, painting the sky with ribbons of green and violet. The aurora borealis, the northern lights, a cosmic performance that humbles and comforts all who gaze upon it. This land has been shaped not only by nature but by story. The sagas of Iceland are among the world's great treasures, tales of settlers, of gods and heroes, of hidden people said to live in the rocks and hills. To wander through Iceland is to walk through myth, where every waterfall has a legend, every mountain a guardian, and every stone might be home to an elf unseen. Before we begin, allow me to offer you this gentle reminder. If you find these journeys to bring you peace, to soothe you toward rest, I invite you to subscribe. Let us meet here each week as faithfully as the stars for another voyage through time and place. Together we shall build a library of dreams, one that you may visit whenever the world outside feels heavy. Now find your comfort. Let your pillow cradle your head. Let your blanket hold you gently. Notice the rhythm of your breath, steady, unhurried, calm. Let us set out then into the quiet streets of Reykjavík, the gateway to Iceland, a city at once modern and ancient, humble and radiant, standing watch where land meets sea. We arrive in Reykjavík, a city that at first glance seems modest, even small, but look closer and you will see that it carries the soul of an entire nation. Its very name tells a story. Reykjavík means smoky bay, and it was given this name by the first Norse settler, Ingólfur Arnarson, who landed here in the year 874. When he saw the steam rising from the many hot springs that dot the land, he thought the bay cloaked in smoke. From that moment, Reykjavík has been the beating heart of Iceland, the place where people gather, where stories begin. As we walk through its streets in our imagination, we notice the houses painted in cheerful hues of red, blue, green, and yellow. Against the gray skies of the north, they shine like lanterns, as if to say, "Here is warmth, here is welcome, here is life." Their corrugated iron walls, once practical defenses against the biting wind, now gleam with charm and character. Above the city rises Hallgrímskirkja, a church unlike any other. Its tall tower seems to stretch upward like the frozen spray of a geyser, or like columns of basalt cooling from volcanic fire. Step inside, and the space is filled with silence, a silence so wide, it feels almost like music. From the tower, Reykjavík spreads out below, colorful roofs against the dark sea, and beyond them, mountains capped in white. We walk to the harbor, where fishing boats sway gently with the tide. For centuries, this harbor was Reykjavík's lifeline, for the sea has always provided what the land could not. Fish drawn from these waters fed generations, and still today the scent of salt and the call of gulls remind us that Iceland's story is forever tied to the ocean. Not far from here stands the Sun Voyager, a gleaming steel sculpture of a ship. It is not a vessel of war or conquest, but of dreams, a reminder of the explorers who first set out across unknown seas, guided only by stars. To stand beside it is to feel the tug of wanderlust, the eternal call to journey further. And as night falls, Reykjavík gives us one of its greatest gifts. Imagine the sky above you, first deepening to navy, then to black, studded with stars. You stand at the shoreline, the air crisp, your breath visible in the chill. Suddenly, a green light shimmers in the distance, faint at first, then brighter, unfurling like a ribbon across the heavens. It twists, it bends, it ripples. Then another joins it, violet, soft and delicate. The aurora borealis has awakened, dancing above you in silence. It is as though the sky itself has decided to dream, and you are fortunate enough to witness it. Legends say these lights are spirits or the reflection of great fires beyond the horizon. Whatever their origin, they remind us of something simple and profound, that beauty can appear when we least expect it, that even the darkest night can be filled with light. As we leave Reykjavík in our thoughts, we carry with us the warmth of its colors, the strength of its people, and the promise of light in darkness. Ahead lies the open road, and with it, Iceland's wild and wondrous heart. Now let the screen gently fade to darkness. Follow only my voice and allow your imagination to drift softly into sleep. From Reykjavík, our path bends outward into the countryside, where three of Iceland's most beloved wonders await us. Together they form what travelers call the Golden Circle, a loop that captures the very essence of the island, its history, its fire, and its waters. We set out in the morning, though here in Iceland morning may be bathed in long twilight depending on the season. In summer the sun lingers high and refuses to sleep, brushing the land with golden light through nearly endless hours. In winter, daylight is precious, a soft glimmer upon snow, cherished like a jewel. Both seasons shape the Icelandic soul, teaching patience, resilience, and the art of finding beauty in what is. The road leads us first to Thingvellir, pronounced Thingvellir. At first the valley appears quiet, almost serene, but then your eyes notice the fissures. The earth is split here, divided by two mighty plates of the planet itself. On one side lies North America, on the other Eurasia, and between them runs a rift pulling apart year by year. Walking through Thingvellir is to walk between continents, your footsteps carrying you across worlds. The air is cool, sharp with the scent of moss and stone. Water runs through the fissures, glacial and clear, so pure that divers come from across the globe to swim between the plates, suspended in a cathedral of light and stone. But Thingvellir is not only a marvel of geology, it is the birthplace of Iceland's nation. In the year 930, people gathered here to form the Alþingi, one of the oldest parliaments in the world. Imagine it. Chieftains standing upon the rocks, their voices carried by wind, declaring laws and settling disputes. There were no grand halls, no gilded thrones, only open sky, earth, and community. It was democracy in its rawest form, practiced upon the living stage of nature. Even now, the rocks seem to remember. If you close your eyes, you might still hear echoes of voices carried on the breeze, layered with the calls of ravens that circle overhead. We linger here for a moment, breathing in the sense of history, then continue eastward until the land begins to hiss and steam. The earth is restless in this place. We arrive at Haukadalur Valley, where hot springs bubble and geysers erupt. The most famous of them all is Geyser itself, now mostly at rest, but once so powerful that it lent its name to every geyser in the world. Though Geyser slumbers, its neighbor Strokkur remains lively. We watch as the pool begins to swell, a dome of turquoise rising as though the earth is inhaling. Then, with a sudden roar, water bursts upward, a tower of steam and spray soaring into the sky before falling back in a glittering shower. The eruption repeats every few minutes, never quite the same, yet always mesmerizing. Around us, the ground is painted in mineral hues, rust red, golden yellow, chalky white, as though the land itself were an artist's canvas brushed with the colors of fire and time. There is a peculiar comfort here, among the steaming vents and bubbling pools. Though the earth rumbles beneath us, its energy is not threatening but life-giving. The people of Iceland have long learned to live with this power, even to harness it. Today, nearly all of the nation's heat and electricity comes from geothermal energy. Imagine the very forces that once terrified settlers now warm homes, heat water, and provide light in the darkest months. Nature, once feared, has become ally and companion. From here we continue to Gullfoss, the golden waterfall, the crown of the golden circle. Even from afar we hear its voice, a low, steady thunder like the heartbeat of the earth. Approaching closer, the Hafita River splits into two great cascades, tumbling with fierce grace into a deep canyon. Spray rises in clouds, and if the sun is kind, rainbows arch above the falls, shimmering bridges between sky and earth. Stand here with me for a moment. Feel the mist on your face, cool and refreshing. Hear the water's endless plunge, steady, eternal. Though the falls are mighty, their sound is strangely calming, a rhythm that lulls rather than alarms. Like a mother's heartbeat to a child, it reassures us of continuity, the sense that the world flows onward, always. Gullfoss nearly disappeared once. In the early 20th century, foreign investors sought to harness its power for electricity. But a local woman, Sigridur Tómasdóttir, fought tirelessly to protect it, walking barefoot across long distances to Reykjavík to voice her protests. Some say she threatened to throw herself into the falls if they were destroyed. Thanks to her persistence, the plans were abandoned and Gullfoss was preserved. Today it remains not only a natural wonder, but a testament to the fierce spirit of Icelanders who defend their land as fiercely as they love it. As we leave the golden circle, we carry with us many layers of Iceland's essence, the solemn history of Thingvellir, the playful eruptions of Strókur, the golden roar of Gullfoss. Together they tell us that this is a country of contrasts, yet also of harmony. Fire and ice, democracy and wilderness, power and peace all coexist here, teaching us that balance is not the absence of difference, but the art of weaving differences into beauty. The road stretches onward, leading us southward now, where waterfalls pour like ribbons from high cliffs and beaches of black sand meet the endless sea. The golden circle fades behind us, but its lessons, resilience, wonder, harmony follow us still, whispering like companions as the journey continues. From the golden circle we turn southward, where Iceland stretches toward the restless sea. Here land and ocean meet in a dialogue that has lasted for millennia, sometimes gentle, sometimes fierce, always unforgettable. The south coast is a place of drama, yet also of tranquility. Its beauty lies in contrasts: black sand against white foam, thunderous waterfalls beside meadows of moss, cliffs of basalt standing guard over endless waves. As we drift along this road in imagination, let us pause often, for every bend reveals a new wonder. Our first stop is Seljalandsfoss, a waterfall that feels like a doorway to another world. From a tall cliff, water pours in a silken veil, falling gracefully into the pool below. A path winds behind it, allowing you to walk through the shimmering curtain. Imagine standing there, surrounded by water on all sides, the sun shining through the spray and painting it with fleeting rainbows. The sound is not harsh, but steady, a hushed roar, like the applause of nature itself. Close your eyes, and it becomes a lullaby, one that wraps around you, cool and soothing. A short journey further brings us to Skogafoss, one of Iceland's most majestic falls. Wider and more powerful, it plunges in a single mighty cascade, crashing into the river below with a sound that can be felt in your chest. Yet even this great force has a soft side. Mist rises constantly from its base, catching the light to form rainbows so vivid they seem almost solid, as if one could step upon them and climb into the sky. Legend whispers that behind this waterfall lies a hidden treasure, a chest of gold placed there by one of Iceland's first settlers. Some claim to have glimpsed it when the sun strikes the water just right, but it has never been taken. Perhaps it waits still, keeping its secret safe within the watery veil. Not far from Skogafoss lies a place where earth and ocean meet in a spectacle of dark beauty. We arrive at Reynisfjara, the black sand beach of Vík. The sand here is not truly sand, but volcanic ash, ground fine over centuries by the sea. It stretches wide and endless, its darkness striking against the foamy white surf. Out in the waves rise great basalt sea stacks, jagged towers known as Reynisdrangar. Folklore tells us they were once trolls caught by the morning sun as they tried to drag a ship to shore, frozen forever in stone. The cliffs beside the beach are built of basalt columns, tall and hexagonal like the pipes of some colossal organ carved by fire. They stand in ordered ranks, rising and falling in strange harmony, as though the land itself were shaped by music. Sit here a while, in your mind's eye, and listen to the ocean's endless rhythm. Each wave rolls in, breaks upon the shore, and then recedes, only to return again like breath, like the steady beating of time. But the south coast holds more still. Beyond the beaches lie fields of moss, so thick and soft they resemble velvet. These mossy plains cover the remains of ancient lava flows born of eruptions long ago. For centuries, the moss has grown patiently, transforming fire-scorched rock into a carpet of green. Step upon it gently and it yields like a cushion fragrant with the scent of earth and rain. We travel further and the landscape shifts again. Wide plains open before us, shaped by the mighty floods that once roared from beneath glaciers. In the distance, mountains rise, their slopes streaked with snow even in summer. Small farms dot the land, their red-roofed houses bright against the muted colors of the fields. Life here is simple, weathered, but resilient. Sheep graze freely, unfazed by the wind, and horses, stocky, sturdy, with long manes blowing in the breeze, trot with the proud gait unique to their breed. The Icelandic horse has carried people across this rugged land for centuries, sure-footed and loyal, and still today it is cherished as a symbol of Iceland's spirit. As night approaches, we might picture ourselves standing once more upon the black sands of Vík. The sea is dark, the horizon faint, but above us the sky begins to shimmer. Clouds part to reveal a curtain of stars, and then faintly the aurora returns. Green light stretches upward, moving as though alive. The basalt columns seem to glow faintly in its reflection, and the waves carry the light upon their crests. The trolls of Reynisdrangar stand watch in silence, eternal guardians of this coast where myth and nature blend seamlessly. Pause here and breathe. Imagine the cool salt air upon your face, the soft give of moss beneath your steps, the steady rhythm of waves in your ears. This is the South Coast, fierce yet gentle, dramatic yet peaceful. Always alive, always enduring. As we leave these shores, we carry with us the lesson they whisper, that beauty often arises from contrast, and that even the blackest sands can shine when the light touches them. Our path now turns toward the east, where glaciers reign and the land glitters with frozen jewels. Our journey now carries us eastward toward the glittering dominion of Iceland's glaciers. They are ancient, vast, and endlessly patient, sculpting the land grain by grain, year after year. To look upon them is to gaze into the memory of the earth itself. We arrive at Vatnajökull, the great glacier, the largest in all of Europe. It stretches across more than 8% of Iceland's surface, a frozen ocean of ice and snow. From a distance, its white expanse glows softly against the darker mountains, like a lantern left burning for centuries. Beneath its weight lie valleys, rivers, and even volcanoes, hidden giants slumbering in the cold. Occasionally they stir, and when they do, the glacier trembles, reshaping the land in ways both fearsome and magnificent. Imagine standing at its edge. The air is sharp, crisp, and filled with a silence so complete it almost rings in your ears. The ice is not simply white, it is blue, a blue so deep and luminous it seems to contain the sky within it. Sunlight refracts through the frozen layers, painting the walls with hues of turquoise and sapphire. Each crack and crevice catches the light differently, creating shifting patterns that feel alive. We step forward, not into the heart of the glacier itself, but into one of its hidden wonders, the ice caves. Formed anew each year as meltwater carves tunnels through the ice, these caves are temporary cathedrals, fragile yet eternal in their cycle of birth and disappearance. Picture yourself entering such a cave. The entrance glows faintly as light filters through thick walls of ice. Within, the ceiling curves like glass, smooth and glistening as though carved by the hands of time itself. Droplets fall in slow rhythm from above, each one striking the ground with a crystalline note. The sound is delicate, like wind chimes in a distant garden. Deeper inside, the light changes. Where the ice grows thicker, the blue deepens to indigo, mysterious and calming. Shadows shift as you move, yet the air remains utterly still. It is like standing within a frozen dream, a place both real and otherworldly. Even your breath feels sacred here, suspended in clouds that vanish almost before they form. Let us pause here, in this frozen sanctuary. Imagine the coolness wrapping gently around you, not harsh but soothing, as though the ice itself offers comfort. Time slows, the worries of the day melt away, absorbed by walls that have seen centuries of seasons pass. There is peace here, profound and unshakable, carved in blue. When we step back into the light, we are greeted by another marvel, Jökulsárlón, the glacier lagoon. Here, icebergs break free from Vatnajökull's edge, drifting serenely upon the water. Each iceberg is a sculpture, shaped by chance. Some are jagged, some smooth, some clear as crystal, others streaked with black lines of volcanic ash, memories of fire trapped in ice. They move slowly, guided by currents, turning and glinting as though performing a ballet upon the lagoon's surface. The water is calm, dark, and reflective, mirroring both sky and ice. Seals sometimes play among the floating giants, their sleek forms darting with effortless grace. Birds wheel overhead, their cries sharp but distant, as though respectful of the quiet majesty below. From the lagoon, the ice drifts outward, carried by a narrow channel until it reaches the sea. Some of it washes ashore upon a stretch of black sand. Here, on what is called Diamond Beach, the icebergs rest like scattered jewels. Imagine walking along this shore, the sand dark as velvet, the ice shimmering in sunlight. Some pieces no larger than a hand, others taller than a person. They glow in shades of white, blue, and clear crystal, each one unique, each one destined to melt away. Kneel down, if you will, and touch one. The surface is smooth, almost glassy, but within you see tiny bubbles, tiny patterns frozen in place. You are touching not just ice, but time, centuries of snowfall compressed into this single piece, now resting in your palm. Slowly, it softens, begins to vanish, a reminder of impermanence. Yet in that impermanence lies beauty, fleeting and therefore all the more precious. Stand here for a while, listening to the waves as they lap against the ice. Some pieces crack softly, releasing little sighs as they yield to the sea. The rhythm is gentle, hypnotic, carrying you deeper into calm. The glaciers teach us many things. They remind us of patience, for they move slowly, carving valleys over millennia. They remind us of resilience, for they endure sun and storm, yet remain steadfast. And they remind us of fragility, for even these mighty giants are retreating, shrinking year by year. Their beauty is eternal, yet also fleeting, a treasure we must cherish while we can. As the day fades, the lagoon begins to mirror the sky. Clouds glow faintly pink and gold, reflected in water and ice alike. The world seems doubled, as if heaven and earth have met upon this frozen stage, and when night finally falls, the stars scatter across both sky and sea, endless and infinite. Here, by the glacier's edge, sleep feels near at hand. The air is cool, the water still, the ice luminous in the dark. Breathe slowly with me, in and out, as though matching the rhythm of the icebergs drifting gently toward the ocean. Allow this calm to sink into you, steady and sure, like the glacier itself. When we continue, we shall leave behind these frozen jewels and journey into the wild highlands where mountains glow in colors unimaginable and geothermal pools steam beneath vast skies. But for now, let the memory of Vatnajökull remain with you, vast, serene, eternal, a guardian of dreams. From the glittering glaciers of the east, our path now turns inward, away from the familiar rhythm of the sea, away from the fishing towns and fertile valleys into Iceland's hidden heart, the highlands. Few venture here. For much of the year, the region is impassable, locked beneath snow or softened by rivers swollen with meltwater. Roads vanish into gravel tracks, and civilization seems to retreat behind us. What remains is a vast wilderness, untamed and raw, where silence itself is the truest companion. The highlands are a reminder that Iceland is still young in the measure of the earth. Here the land shows its bones, its colors, its restless soul. Ash and lava spread in dark plains, mountains glow in hues that seem painted by an unseen hand. The air feels different here, thinner, clearer, with a scent of minerals and moss. Even the sky appears larger, stretching unbroken across horizons without end. We arrive at Landmannalaugar, one of the highlands' most cherished wonders. Its name means the people's pools, for geothermal springs here have long provided warmth and rest for weary travelers. But it is not only the pools that draw us, it is the mountains themselves. Imagine a range of hills, not gray or green, but streaked in colors as though a painter's brush had run wild. Reds and oranges, yellows and purples, all formed from rhyolite rock glowing brighter or dimmer depending on the play of sunlight. Some slopes shine golden in morning light, others smolder copper at dusk. Rain darkens them to deeper shades, and when mist drifts across their flanks, the mountains appear to breathe. It is a living canvas, a palette of the earth itself. The ground crunches beneath our steps, a mix of black volcanic sand and pale stone. Steam curls upward from vents in the earth, carrying with it the faint scent of sulfur, sharp but strangely invigorating. Pools of hot water gather in hollows, their surfaces trembling gently as heat rises from deep below. Slip into one in your imagination, if you wish. Feel the warmth surround you, soothing tired muscles, loosening tension. Above you the mountains glow. Around you silence deepens, broken only by the murmur of water. Landmannalaugar has long been a crossroads. For centuries, shepherds, traders, and travelers passed through here, pausing to rest in its steaming pools before continuing on their journeys. Even today, hikers set out from here to walk the famous Laugavegur Trail, a path of days that winds through mountains, valleys, and glaciers. Yet, as we wander now, there are no footsteps but ours, no sound but the wind. Let us climb slowly and gently along one of the ridges. The path rises, winding among rocks flecked with green moss. With each step, the view expands until the world seems to open. Look out and you see not just mountains, but an endless quilt of color hills striped with red and ochre, valleys of black sand, patches of snow clinging stubbornly even in summer. Beyond them, far to the north, glaciers glimmer faintly like distant seas. Pause here, at the summit. Breathe in the highland air, cool, dry, pure. Let your gaze wander across this wilderness. It is not lush, not gentle, yet it carries a majesty unlike any garden. It is beauty stripped bare, raw and honest, a beauty that asks nothing but stillness. We descend slowly, returning to the valley floor. Here, lava fields spread wide, their black rocks softened by centuries of moss. The moss grows thick and spongy, its green so vivid it seems to glow even under a gray sky. Step upon it carefully, and you feel the give, as though the earth itself has laid down cushions. Touch it, and it is soft, damp, fragrant with rain. This moss takes decades, even centuries, to grow, a reminder that life here moves at a pace both fragile and enduring. As the day wanes, clouds gather and the highlands take on a different mood. The wind rises, whispering through canyons, carrying with it the distant sound of water. Perhaps a raven wheels overhead, its cry stark against the quiet. Shadows lengthen and the mountains shift from gold to deep crimson, then to indigo as dusk settles. The pools steam more visibly now, glowing faintly in the dim light like lanterns left upon the land. Folklore says that hidden people, the Huldufolk, dwell in the rocks and hills of Iceland. In the highlands, where the land feels untouched by time, one can almost believe it. Shapes in the mist might be figures watching. Stones might hold doorways to unseen homes. The people of Iceland have long respected these stories, building roads around certain rocks said to be inhabited. Whether one believes or not, the effect is the same, a reminder to tread gently, to honor what cannot be seen as much as what can. Night falls slowly in the highlands. In summer, darkness never fully comes and the land glows in twilight that lingers for hours. In winter, the opposite is true, and long nights cover the land in shadow broken only by snow and stars. Tonight, let us imagine a gentle midsummer dusk, the sky painted in pale hues of pink and silver. The air is cool but calm, the pools still steaming, the mountains resting in quiet grandeur. Lie back in your thoughts upon the moss and look upward. Clouds drift lazily across the sky, their edges tinged with fading light. Beyond them, stars emerge one by one, as patient as the mountains themselves. The earth beneath you is steady, strong, timeless. The highlands, for all their harshness, bring a sense of calm. Here, stripped of clutter, stripped of noise, you are left with the essentials: earth, air, water, fire. It is the world in its most elemental form, vast and unadorned, asking nothing of you but to be. As we prepare to leave this wilderness, carry with you its lesson, that peace is not always found in softness. Sometimes it is found in clarity, in openness, in the raw honesty of a land that reveals itself exactly as it is. From here, we journey westward, toward the fjords where cliffs plunge into the sea and waterfalls descend in silver veils. But before we go, let us rest a moment longer, listening to the breath of the highlands, the quiet exhale of steam, the soft rustle of wind, the slow heartbeat of the earth beneath moss and stone. From the highlands where the earth bears its colorful bones, we journey northwest into one of Iceland's most remote and least visited realms, the West Fjords. Few travelers come here, for the roads are long and winding, the distances vast and the settlements sparse. Yet those who do are rewarded with landscapes so dramatic, so solemn, they seem carved from another age. The Vestfjords are a place of solitude. Here great arms of land stretch into the sea, their fjords cutting deep and narrow between towering cliffs. The water lies calm, dark, reflective, while mountains rise steeply on either side, their slopes clad in green during summer, snow in winter. Villages perch at the edges of these fjords, tiny clusters of houses, painted bright red, yellow, and blue as though to defy the grey immensity around them. Let us pause at one such fjord. The tide moves gently, lapping against pebbled shores. Fishing boats rest at anchor, their hulls reflected in the still water. The air is cool, tinged with salt and filled with the cries of seabirds. Life here feels slower, measured by the sea's rhythm rather than the clock. But it is not only quiet villages that draw us, it is the raw grandeur of nature itself. High on the cliffs, thousands of birds nest, guillemots, kittiwakes, and the beloved puffins. With their bright orange beaks and comical expressions, puffins seem almost like painted toys. Yet, they are hardy survivors, flying far across the Atlantic before returning to these cliffs each summer. Watch them for a moment. In your mind's eye, wings beating furiously, diving into the water, emerging with a beak full of silver fish. Above them, the sky is alive with movement, a wheeling ballet of wings. Deeper into the West Fjords, we find Dynjandi, the great waterfall, known also as the Jewel of the West. Unlike the singular plunge of Gullfoss or Skogafoss, Dynjandi spreads itself across the mountain in layers, 7 tiers of water cascading one after another. From a distance it looks like a bridal veil, white and delicate, flowing endlessly down the dark rock. As you approach, the sound grows louder until it surrounds you, not a roar but a steady surge, as though the earth itself were sighing with contentment. Mist rises, cooling your skin, and moss clings thickly to the stones, nourished by the water's constant embrace. Sit here a while, let the sound of Dynjandi wash over you, steady and endless. Imagine each drop of water as a thought, a worry, a burden tumbling down and vanishing into the pool below. The longer you listen, the lighter you feel, until only peace remains. The West Fjords are not dramatic in the way of volcanoes or geysers. They do not shout their grandeur. Instead, they whisper. They invite patience, stillness, reflection. Their beauty is not of spectacle, but of solitude, the kind of beauty you feel deep within, the kind that lingers long after you've gone. As evening falls, the fjords take on a hushed glow. The cliffs darken, the water reflects the fading light in silver and blue, and birds return to their nests in great flocks, their cries softening with the dusk. Villages grow quiet, lights flickering in windows as though stars have descended to the earth. Above, the sky deepens, and if fortune is kind, the aurora may stretch once more across the heavens, its colors mirrored faintly in the fjord below. The West Fjords remind us that silence is not emptiness. Silence can be fullness of presence, of stillness, of being. Here, far from the rush of cities, far even from Iceland's busier roads, one may hear again the quiet voice of the earth, steady and calm, saying, "Rest, be still, you are enough." From here our journey will draw gently toward its end. Let us carry the peace of these fjords with us as we turn toward our closing reflections. From the solitude of the West Fjords, our path bends eastward and then north to a region often called the Crown of Iceland, a place where fjords stretch deep into the land, where lava fields and lakes tell tales of fire, and where winters are long yet filled with quiet beauty. The north feels different from the south. The air is drier, the light a little crisper, the horizons broader. Villages nestle at the water's edge, sheltered by mountains, while inland the land opens wide, dotted with lakes, hot springs, and lava pillars. It is a region of contrasts, yet somehow more tranquil, as though the north has learned to carry its wonders with quiet dignity. We arrive first at Akureyri, often called the capital of the north. Though small by the standards of the world, it is a lively place with brightly painted houses, tidy streets, and a harbor that has long connected the north to the sea. Its church, Akureyrarkirkja, rises proudly above the town, its twin towers visible from afar. In summer, the town blooms gardens filled with lupines and wildflowers, a surprising burst of color so close to the Arctic Circle. Even in the coldest winters, warmth seems to linger here, carried by the Gulf Stream and by the spirit of its people. But it is not cities we have come to see. Our steps lead onward, deeper into the north, where the land reveals marvels that feel at once otherworldly and dreamlike. We arrive at Lake Mývatn, a place born of volcanic fire. The name means Midge Lake, for tiny flies hover here in summer, though they trouble us little in imagination. The lake itself is serene, dotted with small islands and cradled by strange formations of lava. From its shores rise towers and arches of stone, remnants of eruptions long ago. These are the Dimmuborgir, the dark castles. Walk among them and you feel as though you wander through the ruins of some forgotten fortress, walls and turrets shaped not by human hands, but by the slow artistry of molten rock. Folklore says these formations are the homes of trolls or even the entrance to the underworld. At Christmas, stories tell of the Yule lads, mischievous figures who dwell in these rocks, visiting farms to play tricks. Though playful in tale, the rocks themselves are solemn, standing silent in the wind, their shapes both eerie and enchanting. Nearby, geothermal fields bubble and hiss. At Verir, the ground steams constantly, pools of mud boiling and spitting, their surface breaking like restless breath. The air is filled with the scent of sulfur, sharp, almost metallic, reminding us that the earth beneath Iceland is alive and never fully at rest. Steam rises in plumes, white against the darker hills, drifting into the sky like whispers. To stand here is to feel the raw pulse of the planet, its warmth pressing upward through every fissure. North Iceland is also home to waterfalls of great beauty. Chief among them is Gullfoss, the waterfall of the gods. Here, the Skjálfandafljót River spreads wide before plunging in a graceful curve into the gorge below. The water does not fall in thunderous might, but in elegant sheets, spreading like a curtain of silver. Its name comes from history. When Iceland embraced Christianity around the year 1000, it is said that the statues of the old Norse gods were cast into this waterfall, their power given back to the river. To watch the water fall here is to feel both reverence and serenity, as if the past itself is being washed clean. Travel further and the landscapes continue to shift. Vast lava fields stretch across the land, black and broken, softened only by patches of moss. In winter, snow covers them, turning the scene into an endless white plain, silent and still. In summer, lupines spread like a purple sea, swaying gently in the wind, filling the air with their sweet scent. The seasons transform the north, yet its essence remains unchanged, calm, spacious, steady. And above it all there are the skies. In summer, the midnight sun glows, lingering low on the horizon, painting the world in endless twilight. Shadows grow long but never vanish, and the air carries a golden softness that feels like a dream that refuses to end. In winter, the opposite is true. Nights stretch long, but in their darkness the stars shine sharp and bright, and often the aurora appears, weaving once more its ribbons of green and violet across the heavens. Imagine yourself standing on the shores of Lake Mývatn on such a night. The water reflects the lights, doubling the spectacle so that above and below you the sky seems alive with color. The air is crisp, your breath visible, but you feel no chill, only wonder. The lava towers stand as silhouettes against the shimmering sky, guardians of this ancient place. The world is vast, yet you feel at peace, connected to something timeless. The north of Iceland teaches us many lessons. It shows us resilience, for here, life endures through long winters and volcanic soil. It shows us reverence for waterfalls, rocks, and even fields of boiling mud are treated not as obstacles but as sacred. And it shows us wonder, for in every season, whether lit by midnight sun or northern lights, the land gives beauty freely, asking nothing but respect. As we leave the north, let us carry its calm with us. The steady fall of Gullfoss, the silence of lava fields under snow, the gentle bloom of lupines in the breeze. All these images remain woven softly into memory. Our journey now draws toward its close, but not before we lift our gaze once more to the heavens, where the aurora waits to lead us gently into dream. And now, dear traveler, our hour together through Iceland draws to a close. You have walked the bright streets of Reykjavík, where colored houses smile against the sea and the northern lights dance across the heavens. You have stood in Thingvellir, between continents and within history, hearing echoes of the world's oldest parliament. You have watched geysers rise, waterfalls thunder, and rivers carve their way through golden valleys. You have felt the spray of Seljalandsfoss, stood before the rainbowed mist of Skogafoss, and wandered the black sands of Vík, where trolls stand frozen in stone. You have stepped into the blue cathedrals of ice, where time itself is frozen in shimmering walls, and walked along Diamond Beach, where glaciers scatter their jewels upon velvet sand. You have climbed among the painted mountains of Landmannalaugar, soaked in steaming pools beneath endless skies, and touched the moss that softens the scars of fire. You have wandered the west fjords, where Puffin's wheel and Dynjandi spreads her silver veil across the mountainside. And above it all you have seen the northern lights, the aurora borealis, ribbons of green and violet dancing in the dark, reminding us that even the blackest nights may be filled with wonder. Carry these images with you, not as burdens, but as gentle companions. When stress returns, recall the silence of the highlands. When worry stirs, remember the steady fall of Dynjandi. When the world feels too heavy, imagine the aurora unfurling above you, vast and free. I thank you for joining me on this journey. It has been my honor to guide you through Iceland, to share with you its beauty, its history, its whispers. If you have found peace here, if your eyelids grow heavy, if your thoughts have quieted, then this voyage has served its purpose. I invite you, should you wish, to return again. subscribe, and together we shall explore new lands each week, places of wonder, of story, of calm. There are countless journeys yet ahead, and I should be most delighted to have you by my side once more. But for now, rest. The hour is late, the world is hushed. Iceland remains, vast and patient, its glaciers gleaming, its waterfalls singing, its skies alight with quiet fire. May these images drift with you into dream. May your sleep be deep, your mind untroubled, your heart at ease. Good night, dear traveler, until we journey again.
Snowfall, silent night, life and death embrace. Mountains stand like old gods in this frozen place. Ice and fire entwine, whispers on the wind. Nature's cruel and kind, where does it all begin? Life and death come near, in the shadows dance. Fragile moments here, nothing left to chance. Aurora paints the sky, stories of the land. We're just passing by, held in nature's hand.